We've all thought about the future of AI, right? But what happens when that future literally walks into a courtroom? Well, for the very first time, a state is criminally investigating an AI for its alleged role in a murder. And no, this isn't science fiction. This is a real case, and the consequences, well, they're going to be profound. Okay, let's just pause on that for a second. That single statement from Florida's Attorney General, James Uthmayer, it changes everything. The argument here isn't just that a criminal used a piece of software. Nope. The argument is that the tool itself acted with a level of blame that if it were a human would be considered murder. This is the exact moment the whole debate around AI accountability gets very, very real.
So, how are they doing this? Well, it's a formal criminal probe into OpenAI, the company that made ChatGPT. It's so important to get this part. This is not a civil lawsuit about money. This is a criminal investigation, which raises the stakes to a whole new level.
The whole case really comes down to just two words: significant advice. What Florida's prosecutors are arguing is that this wasn't just some suspect looking up random facts online. They're claiming that ChatGPT crossed a huge line, from being a passive library of information to becoming an active advisor in planning a violent crime. But behind all this legal theory and these tech headlines, there's a real tragic human cost. This entire investigation started because of a mass shooting back in April of 2025. The attack on the Florida State University campus, it was just devastating. 2 people lost their lives.
And on top of that, 7 other people were wounded, many with injuries that are going to affect them for the rest of their lives. So this isn't some abstract legal debate, right? It's rooted in a very real, very painful tragedy. So while the human suspect, Phoenix Ickerner, is pleading not guilty and waiting for trial, the state has kicked off this whole other parallel investigation. For the first time ever, they are digging into the role of a non-human entity in a violent crime. And that is what makes this case so historic.
So this is the big question, isn't it? What on earth could an AI and a person talk about that would lead to a murder investigation? Let's take a look at the actual chat logs that prosecutors are holding up as evidence.
And when you look at these questions, they are just chillingly specific. We're not talking about someone just browsing the web here. The suspect allegedly asked about how deadly specific ammo was, the best time to attack the student union, and even, calculated things like potential media attention and prison time. This is the bedrock of the state's whole significant advice argument.
So that's one side. But as you can probably guess, OpenAI sees this, well, completely differently. Their entire defense is built on the idea that their technology just can't be held responsible for what a user decides to do. And this right here, this is the core of the whole legal battle. You've got 2 completely different stories. Was the AI an advisor, like the state says? Or was it just a really advanced search engine, giving factual answers based on stuff that's already out there on the internet? OpenAI is adamant that their platform never, ever encouraged or promoted any kind of harmful act. And OpenAI's public statement, it's crystal clear. They call the shooting a tragedy, of course, but they argue that ChatGPT is simply not responsible. For them, the line is bright and clear. The blame lies with the human user, not the tool they decided to use. Look, no matter how this case ends up, it's already pushed us into completely uncharted legal waters. It's forcing a massive confrontation with questions about technology and responsibility that our legal system was, frankly, never built to handle. And you can see just how deep this probe goes when you look at what Florida is demanding from them. They've subpoenaed OpenAI's internal rulebooks on handling threats, their training materials, their records, even their policies for reporting crimes. This is way bigger than just one chat log. It's an investigation into OpenAI's entire philosophy on safety. This isn't just another court case. It's a fundamental turning point. Think about it. Our entire legal system is built around the idea of human intent and human action. Now, all of a sudden, it has to figure out how to apply those old ideas to artificial intelligence. The precedent that gets set here, it's not just going to affect OpenAI. It could define the legal rules for AI for decades to come. And that really leaves us with one of the biggest questions of our time, maybe the biggest question. As AI gets more and more powerful, more integrated into our lives, we have to figure out where that line is. Where does a person's responsibility stop, and where does the accountability of the AI and its creators begin? That is the question in front of a courtroom in Florida, and honestly, it's a question all of us are going to have to answer.